What's going on YouTube? It's Chris here bringing you guys another Fantasy Puck video. Today is our week 17 preview coming in off of the All-Star break, and hopefully you guys enjoyed. I find that the skills competition gets more and more underwhelming every year, me personally, but I do enjoy the All-Star game, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I definitely think that there's some things that they should look to improve going forward. But for the most part, it was a fun experience. I'm glad the players get to have a little fun, and it's really just for the kids at the end of the day. So I'm happy with it, even though at the end of the day it could be better. But what I want to know in the comments down below is who do you think won the Bo Horvat trade? He just now today signed an 8-year extension. If you guys didn't see that, go check that out. Who do you think won the trade? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you own Horvat, are you happy that he went to the Islanders, or would you have preferred him to stay on the Canucks? Very interested to see how this pans out for both teams. But guys, if we can get 100 likes on this video, that'd be absolutely unbelievable. And if you're new to the Fantasy Puck community, make sure that you're joining our Discord. We have a bunch of channels there. If you guys have any questions about trades, streams, or anything related to fantasy hockey, definitely go check that out. As well as we do have premium options for you guys available, including our premium in-season tools such as like player projections and our trade analyzer. With the most of the fantasy hockey trade deadlines coming up in the next little bit, it will be big to know what you want to target and what you will be targeting, which we will be making a video on for you guys as well too. So that is in the works right now, so look forward to that. As well as, guys, if you're interested in Prize Picks, make sure that you're using code PUCK when you sign up. They'll match your initial deposit up to $100. So if you're interested in using code PUCK, be sure that you do that. It really helps us out, guys. As well as, guys, always make sure that you're following us on Twitter. Don has all of the updates, whether it's fantasy hockey related or NHL related. It all kind of intertwines, and Don is on top of all of it. So be sure that you're following us on Twitter as well. Let's get into the preview for this week, guys. All right, so the best schedule this week are on the 8th, the 10th, and the 12th. Kind of a weird week for some teams. A lot of teams have 4-game slates, only a handful of them. As you can see, the Ducks, the Rangers, and the Kraken have 2 nights off during those 4 games. And then if you look at the worst schedule of this week, guys, it's really like I've never seen a week where there's been over like more than 3 teams that have 1 games. And a lot of the rest of the week is like busy. Like earlier in the week, the 6th and the 7th, the Monday, Tuesday, that's super busy as well. And then late on the Saturday, almost every single team plays. So if your team only plays 1 game this week, chances are it's on this Saturday. Almost every single team plays on the Saturday for some reason. I don't know what is going on with that. Obviously, like, you don't want anything really on the Sunday because of the Super Bowl, so I guess that's why the NHL just jam-packed the Saturday. But this is the schedule for this week. So if you have guys on this team, they're only playing 1 game for this week, guys, so be sure that you're adding players accordingly, especially earlier on in the weeks, because like I said, all these teams seem to play on the Saturday. So definitely make sure that you check out the list. Starting off with some forward streams, Vincent Trocheck is at the top of my list. I know a lot of you guys, especially in smaller leagues like the 8 to 10 team leagues, have been disappointed in his production as of late. I'm confident that Trocheck is going to get a bit of a boost once the Rangers add a piece to their team, via whether it come trade deadline, whether it come before trade deadline. I think they're looking to add big. A name that like I've been confident in that the Rangers have been targeting, I think, is Patrick Kane. And chances are he's going to end up either playing on the first or second line and then either bumping somebody like Panarin or Kreider down. Recently, Trocheck has been playing with Kreider as well too, and Barclay Goodrow, who's somebody that we will touch on later in today's video. But I'm confident that, everything outside of the production at least has been great for Trocheck, whether it's faceoffs, whether it's shot volume, whether it's hit volume, like he even chips in a couple blocks there, guys. Like, he is a 7 category player. So definitely, and he's playing power play 1 as well too. So definitely recommend picking him up if he's available in your league for some reason. I know he's 69% owned, pretty high, but for those of you in the 8 to 10 leagues, definitely grab him for this week. Troy Terry, kind of the same story. If you need production, if you need shot volume, he is your guy. And Anaheim has one of the worst team shooting percentages in the NHL. And that's very uncharacteristic for some players on that team. Zegras, McTavish, Terry as well too. He's been doing pretty good this season, but again, like if you need production during the week, he's got a very, very good schedule. He plays 4 games, 2 off nights, and you definitely want him if he's available. And you need a winger. Matty Beniers is another good pickup. He's been unbelievable for the Kraken this year. He's really kind of established himself as that #1 center there. Great schedule again. If you need a center and those higher ownership guys aren't available, he is my go-to. And if for whatever reason he's unavailable, Jared McCann gives you a little bit of flexibility there as well too. He shoots and he hits as well. Power play 1. Great schedule again for this week, guys. And then rounding out our list is Philip Hedl of the Rangers. He's been really good for the Rangers as of late too in terms of his production. And then he chips in things like face-offs, hits, a couple blocks here and there as well too. So again, based off of your ownership, go with that. We do have some deeper streaming options for you guys as well too. Mason McTavish is a good one, simply because of the fact that he's consistently getting top 6 minutes. He gives you really good peripherals, especially hits, blocks a couple shots here and there. His shot volume's been good enough that where like I would roster him at 16%, and the production is going to come, especially because they have some weaker matchups this week, including I believe they play Arizona and I think it's Chicago. Don't quote me on that, but 2 pretty weak matches for the Ducks this week. So I would definitely check out Adam McTavish. And he's certainly left wing eligible. Like I think he's a solid player in most category leagues, but if you're looking for points, you probably want to look elsewhere. One of the other guys on our list, Kyle Palmieri. I told you guys about him in the ad video last week. He's got 5 points his last 5 games. He's playing top 6 minutes. He's shooting the puck. He's hitting. Like he's a great ad for somebody that's 10% owned. Really good schedule this week. Not one of the better ones because he doesn't have 2 off nights, but again, like you'll be able to pick him up and use him earlier in your guys' weeks just because the schedule this week isn't super heavy earlier on. But again, like I said, everybody kind of plays Saturday, so you're going to be able to get all your elite players in on the Saturday. So definitely worth streaming in my opinion earlier in the week. Oliver Bjorkstrand, probably like him, McTavish obviously have like 2 off nights and play 4 games this week. So I think he's a really good option as well too. Really high shot volume. I could have gone with Burakovsky here, but I like Bjorkstrand's shot volume, and they're similar in terms of production as of late within the last 5 to 10 games. I just like the fact that, like I know what I'm getting out of Bjorkstrand with the shot volume. And like power play 2, like obviously not ideal, but him and Tolvanen have been really good on that power play as well too, guys. So definitely look to stream him. And for 9% ownership, like if you just need a guy to like throw in there that's going to get you a bunch of shots for this week and help out your shot volume, like really good option. And like I said, everybody on Seattle can score, and it's not like they really have 1 or 2 lines that they like to roll more than the others. It's really just dependent on who's going that night. So I wouldn't worry too much about his ice time or anything along. Like I said, Seattle just likes to roll all 4 lines. Owen Tippett, again, high shot volume. He's hitting a lot too, surprisingly, and he's actually in a position where he's playing top 6 minutes, which is great for his stock. And at 8% owned, again, good schedule, not the best. Like I said, Seattle and Anaheim and the Rangers obviously have those on lock in terms of the scheduling. But Tippett's been really good. He's continued to be good, and for 8% ownership, I think he's a good stream for this week, especially if you want somebody to not only chip in terms of shot volume, but hits as well too, guys. I think Tippett's a good option going forward. And then finally, rounding out our list, Barclay Goodrow, really versatile. He's been on the second line with Kreider and Trocheck. So if you want somebody that is going to get some exposure in the top 6 in New York, and like I said, very versatile, center, left wing, right wing, eligible. He can play every position. You get him for 4. You get him at the best schedule for this week. He's 4% owned, and like just a good low ownership option, I think, for you guys going forward in those deeper leagues. He's been really good as of late too, in terms of I think he's got 4 points in the last 5 games. He's been like production's been great, and if he's playing top 6, like I want exposure to him at that ownership. All right, moving on to defensive streams. We've got Adam Larson being our big dog here, 69% owned. He's been great in the peripherals category, shots, blocks, hits, and actually like pretty decent in terms of his production as well too. Like I said, 69% owned. He plays on Seattle. At the end of the day, if you can grab him for this week, if you're in, like I said, one of those, if you're in a categories league that's like an 8 to 10 league and he's available, he's a great stream for this week. I love him in terms of peripherals. Definitely a player that I would look to target if you do need to add some peripherals to that. And he's playing, I don't think he's on power play 2 anymore. But he plays over 22 minutes a night. But speaking of guys that are on power play too, we have Keandre Miller, who's been really good as of late as well too. There was a stint there for a little bit where his ownership fluctuated up to like 45%, and he was just on an absolute tear in terms of his production, in terms of his hitting, in terms of his blocks, his shots. He's kind of come a little bit back down to earth, but his hit volume is still really, really high, guys. So if you need somebody to help you in the hits category that's a defenseman that'll chip in on shots and blocks too, he plays over 20 minutes a night. He's on the Rangers. He's got a great schedule for this week, and he's on power play too. Like he checks all the boxes for me for a stream for this week. Definitely look to pick him up if he's available for you guys. Cam Fowler, very similar situation. I definitely lean more towards Keandre Miller, given the choice out of the two. But Cam Fowler is now the power play 1 defenseman in Anaheim. They moved Klingberg down to power play 2 just because he hasn't been doing well at all. So Fowler is now on the first power play unit, guys. So if you need a power play 1 defenseman with like a pretty good shot volume, I don't think he blocks too much, but again, power play 1 defenseman for 17% owned on a really good schedule for this week. What's not to like, right? Like he'll play over 22 minutes a night. He'll get you like 2-3 shots and power play 1 upside. So a pretty good stream option for you guys this week. Obviously, I'd lean more towards Keandre Miller if possible. Like I said, I just typically like to get more peripherals out of my defenseman than have to necessarily worry about a power play 1 defenseman and streaming him for this week. But speaking of, Kalen Addison has been very, very good. To me, Kalen Addison is like a little bit of a poor man's, excuse me, I'm a little bit sick, guys, so apologies for the voice. Addison, to me, is somebody that's like a poor man's Tyson Barrie, and he's just a power play 1 defenseman. He chips in power play points like it's his day job. Minnesota's power play is great. Obviously, you get Kaprizov, Boldy on that as well, too, Zuccarello. So if you need somebody for under, like, he's 10% owned, and if you need power play points this week, especially, his shot volume's not great. He doesn't play like over 20 minutes a night usually, but at the end of the day, you know, if you need those power play points and you need assists, Kalen Addison is a good stream for this week, guys. He's somebody that I'm kind of keeping my eye on, especially with Minnesota getting closer and closer to the trade deadline. I'm very curious to see what they're going to do. I don't anticipate that they move this guy, but I'm curious to see if they move Dumba, will he potentially like grow into like a position where he's playing over 20 minutes a night. Obviously, like he's a rookie, but he's been really good. He's been quarterbacking their first power play all season. So I'm curious to see what happens with him. And then Eric Chernak is a very, very safe, very, very low ownership option for you guys for this week. Hits and blocks are his specialty, and he hits like it's his day job, which in reality it is. He's safe. He's going to play over 20 minutes a night. Plays 4 times this week. Not the best schedule, obviously, but you get him for 4 games. So if you want to throw him into the lineup, if you're in a deeper league, I would definitely recommend doing so if you need hits and blocks. And then finally, guys, moving on to goaltending, we have a couple good options for you here. Depending on the ownership, it's really a toss-up between Charlie Lindgren and Casey Smith for my number 1 option this week. Both on off nights, good matchups against either San Jose or Anaheim, both on back-to-backs. Obviously, that's why they'd be starting. They've been okay, right? Like they're both backup goalies. They play on pretty good teams. Like Washington, Pittsburgh are middle of the table fighting for that wild card spot in the Central. In the East in general. Then you got Brian Elliott earlier in the week if you need an earlier stream, but it is on one of the busy nights against San Jose. But again, it's Tampa, so likely just the fact that they have a back-to-back early on in the week, you could potentially stream Elliott on the Tuesday and then drop him for one of the other 3 options available to you guys later on. And then this was a little bit of an asterisk. We don't know what's going on with Matt Murray. They told us that there wouldn't be any more information prior to the All-Star game. So now that the All-Star game's concluded and the Leafs don't play till Friday and Saturday, this one's kind of like in a development, depending on if Matt Murray still needs more time before he comes back, because they do play a back-to-back this week. And normally what happens is Shalgren is the guy that they bring up to play in the back-to-back, or that's what they've done recently. But they just recently brought up Joseph Woll prior to the All-Star break as the potential backup. And he's been really good in the AHL as well, too. So just something to keep an eye on later in the week. That's definitely a good matchup against Columbus as well, too, guys. So if you need a goalie later on in the week, either go with Lindgren to Smith, or probably a more favorable matchup, even could be a Wall or Shalgren, depending on which one Toronto brings up. So just keep an eye on that going forward, guys. That's going to do for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Leave a like and hit that subscribe button if you did. And as always, guys, have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day.